This video brought to you by our Patreons. Please consider supporting this channel and joining our Patreons at patreon.com/NovaWing24. Hi there folks, my name's NovaWing24 and welcome to another little review of a prepared product. So today we're going to be having a look at the latest release from Pilot Plus, and in fact I do believe it's their first release since joining forces with Orbix and being able to offer their content available for sale on the Orbix Direct Store. Of course, I am talking about their recent release of Bristol International Airport for Prepared V 4.4 and above. Now, we're going to be doing the review. We're going to be doing it a little bit differently today than what we normally do our terrain reviews, but I'm kind of excited about how we're going to do this. I'm not sure if it's going to work or not. I guess we'll find out. But before we get too far into this review, I do want to say, first off, a very huge thank you to Pilot Plus and to Orbix for providing me with the review copy of this add-on. And today we are undertaking the review here in Prepared V 4.5 Hotfix 3, though the add-on is fully compatible with Prepared V5 as well. Now, as I said, we're going to be doing a slightly different format review, but still the same kind of basics. We're going to be going through exploring a lot of the really cool features or some of the detail that's gone into this airport. And then after that, we'll go for a bit of a fly and have a look at have a look from a bit of a higher perspective. So, in terms of this airport, so what is this airport? So, Bristol International Airport is a fairly busy UK airport. It's one of those sort of smaller airfields that's come to a lot of prominence with the rise of lower cost carriers such as Ryanair. And both Ryanair and EasyJet use it as a hub. It's also been a hub for TUI as well in their operations and provides a gateway towards Europe and the Americas in all seasons and all weathers. So it's a very, very popular airport and serves as the springboard as well as the homecoming destination for many people heading off onto holidays. This airport also, interestingly enough, happens to be the home airport of Pilot Plus as a developer as well. So it's really interesting that I don't know whether it's interesting, but it's interesting that they've definitely taken their time in order to be able to get the content right. Now we've got a bit of overlap from AI traffic coming on here. I think those wingtips are touching a bit too much, so we can't really blame them on that one. But in terms of the airport here, I really want to showcase, as I said, all this attention to detail that's gone through in so many of these little the little things that just bring this airfield and any scenery piece really to life. So we're actually going to head over here to sort of like the main entrance. We're always going to do almost like a drive-through as if we were arriving to the airport before we were ourselves getting aboard an aircraft. Now, in terms of the imagery, this airport is designed is optimized to work with Orbix's True Earth Great Britain as well. And as such, the photoreal imagery that it has is a very high density 12.5 centimeter pixel resolution, which for the most part is really, really well done. It's very beautifully hand curated. And merges pretty seamlessly with the content that comes through from the True Earth Great Britain set as well. Now, for those who are wondering why this camera is a little bit shaky, so the reason what it is that, and why I'm sort of doing this a little differently, why I said that this review is a little different, is the fact that I'm actually making use, instead of a camera application, we're actually making use of one of the native features of Prepared, which is the unmanned aerial vehicles and some of the other sim objects that exist inside of Prepared. One of those is actually a quadrotor UAV. So we're actually using that for pretty much what it is meant for as well. So it's actually an interesting experience. I've discovered this a little while ago and I've always been wanting to give it a try. So you guys get to experience it. And as I said, I think it offers a really cool way for us to be able to get down and close and then be able to actually inspect the airport and see how it's going. Now, I do also want to point out as well some of the Easter eggs in here as well. Like, for example, the Pilot Plus logo on the ground service equipment and on the billboard signage that's down here as well. Also, just notice the FS Elite logo in there as well. Like, That's really cool. Like, I really appreciate when developers, yeah, there's the cool part about, yeah, yes, you want to recreate exactly how it appears in real life, but at the same time, you want to put little things like here in here as well for people who are paying attention. That's so cool. Loving that. Anyway, um, all right. Otherwise, as I said, we've got all the ground service equipment and the sort of maintenance depot on this side over here, all lovingly recreated in some beautifully impressive detail here as well. I must say as well, for the level of detail that we're seeing here, frame rates are absolutely beautiful. Like I am running, so I have my frames locked to 30 frames per second, and it is going over the lock, like it's regularly sitting sort of going over, and the sim's actually clamping it back down and bring it back down to 30. So performance wise, this thing is absolutely smooth as butter. Like it is absolutely beautiful. So as I said, we're just going to continue wandering along here and doing our little things with Kappa. As I said, like right down to the level of detail here is amazing. Right down to the pay stations in there and how they're modeled. Like this is a amazing level of detail has gone into this. It really, really has, and it just really, really impresses me with what's here. So we're going to go through a bit of a fly through here, going along through the front of the terminal building here, so where we would go if we were dropping off or being dropped off in order to be able to head off on our holidays. Now, probably I mean, I look at the road textures here and I go, they're a little bit washed out, but we're still talking 12.5 centimeter pixel resolution imagery here. Possibly could have done with a little curation here, but at the end of the day, you're not going to see that unless you do something like what we're doing today, which is pretty rare that someone's going to do that. Now we're just going to pass through a wall here because I wanted to show off the fact that, you know, they've modeled the interior of the actual, they've modeled the interior of the terminal, and they've done it in like detail, as I said. Like you can't sort of, you know, say we've flown our little drone in here, but you're seeing it from out here, like that's an incredible amount of detail. And again, as I said, just completely light on frames, like a beautiful balance, and a real great sort of sign of showing how you can positively balance immaculate immersive detail, like incredibly, like in some ways almost over immersive detail, and still have a very clean, efficient, and performance in your sim as well. Now we've got our multi-story car park building over here as well, and we've got our other air operations building over here as well, including the control tower. So we're going to go for a bit of a fly past these, and then we'll go back along we'll go across over to airside. Now, I'm pretty sure we're breaking plenty of UK Civil Aviation Authority rules by flying a drone this close to the airport. But again, as I said, but it's just it's this beautiful sort of, you know, and this blending that they've done between their curated textures and the photo reel is really, really well done, and it's got this, and it's really like amazing, as I said, like, and it still continues that immersive factor. So there is that bit of a join, but for most of us, you know, when we're flying, we're going to be flying in our aircraft. We're going to be coming into the stands here. We're going to be able to appreciate that continuity here and not necessarily notice some of these finer details. And this is why I love showing this kind of stuff off. Alright, so we're just going to go head over to our EasyJet aircraft that's sort of parked over here. EasyJet one, or maybe the Ryanair one. Actually, I think we'll head over to the Ryanair one, actually. So we've got the EasyJet one here. We'll drop down to his level for a little bit as we sort of fly past. As I said, it's also, on a side note, as I said, it's really fun and interesting controlling this UAV that comes with Prepared. It's an interesting exercise, and really, really fun. So we've got our detailed equipment here. We've got these particular GSE that we're seeing here, that's supplied to us by Rex at the moment, but otherwise all the default GSE in the Swissport colours. Again, beautifully, immaculately detailed, highly done. It's just incredibly well done. Really just, I love, again, as I said, I love this attention to detail and this real immersiveness that you get with that for being able to see all that. So we've got our tank farm beautifully modelled here as well. Ryanair aircraft here, and then if we get a little closer to the gates here, so there's no jetways here at Bristol. So you do sort of exit the terminal, you do walk out on flight stairs. But again, as I said, that's all part of the experience here, and as I said, it is all accurately modeled. Now, in terms of that, we can actually see as I sort of shoot past it here. Again, beautiful done of the airport signage there. Now we'll just drop our drone altitude down so we can see that. Oh no, we're going to fly through the building. Oh, sorry. Again, we've got the internals are actually modeled really well, complete with a line-up tape to get everybody in, and then we've got our chairs down on the bottom level before passengers will come out. So I said the amount of detail that's gone in here, when the shadowing that's gone through here, and the really extremely high quality textures that have come through here, it is absolutely amazing, especially with the fact that this, in terms of scenery performance, is, I think, possibly some of the best scenery performance I've seen on any add-on, particularly something that's as detailed as this one. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to fly up here, we're going to cross over to the other side of the airport, because I do want to show off, as I said, like, for many users that's probably going to be, I'm going to have to turn my UAV around, so this is probably going to be where a lot of a lot of pilots will be flying in here will be using the airliner side, and as I said, there's a great detail going here and great frame rates for you guys as well. Interestingly enough, this airfield is a fairly short airfield for international sort of airliner standards. It's only 6,500 feet of usable runway. Yet still is regularly home and regularly operates 787s, so 737s, Airbuses, and 787s on international and short-haul routes are all make regular appearances here at the airport. So there'll be quite the range of tubeliners you'll be able to operate out of here from. Now, as we cross over to the other side of the airfield, so this is sort of our GA side of the airfield here as well. So and as I said, that's the great thing, is that there is still it is still a airfield that's open to all pilots, whether you be a GA pilot or a tubeliner pilot. You do get the option here. Now, this is a old disused runway. It's been turned into a taxiway and turned into an area for GA aircraft. Again, beautifully modeled, beautifully detailed, and we've got our airport car park and power station over here as well. I did want to show this off over here on this side as well. We've got our Bristol Flying School, faithfully and beautifully modeled here as well. So if you want to grab your $100 hamburger, you can come over here and grab that. Would it still be a $100 hamburger in the UK, or would it be maybe $100, I don't know, £100, 100-pound Yorkshire pudding? I don't know. I'm not sure. So something, again, neat little thing that I wanted to show off about what I love when developers put attention to detail in here is there's custom traffic files in here for ground traffic. So you actually see vehicles, and we can see two of them here. Vehicles actually drive into the car park, drive up and down and around the car park, and then leave. Like, it's that sort of living world detail that I think is just it gets missed so many times, and I love being able to see that, spot that, and it just really does. It's this fascinating concept of immersion and realism and immersion. Seeing a truck, you sort of move that sort of 20 degrees or jump that it did there may not be realistic in inverted commas here, but it's important for immersion to have that traffic, have that living traffic here. So that's really cool and really important. It's something that I think many simmers would see but wouldn't notice. So I think that's a really great thing. I always love pointing out little things like that, because as I said, attention to detail from the devs is amazing. Now, as we continue on past here, so this is some of the other airport buildings over here, including the airport fire training ground is here, complete with a full setup and full setup for a training aircraft airframe, and the local fire truck actually sort of set here and operating as well. So lots of attention to detail going here, and I think we found another Easter egg there where we've actually got the Pilot Plus logo on the side of that fire tender. Again, that's cool. Love it. I do notice though that the GA side of the airfield gets a little less attention to detail than the mainline side. So I mean, our taxiways are still modelled. Our taxiways are still modelled. That's fine. But you still got that living world sort of side of the vehicles over there. But it just, as you can sort of see from this part here, there's a little less attention to detail on some of the ground textures on this side of the airfield. I can't really fault it because at the end of the day, this is a closed taxiway, so how much time, except in maybe in a review, we're going to be spending over here looking at this stuff. But it's just something that I did notice and I did want to cover off. Otherwise, the runway and the textures for the airport itself are beautifully modelled. The seam and the blending between this and the Orbix's True Earth Great Britain South is beautifully well done and very, very seamless as well. As much as you can when you shift from 12.5 centimeter per pixel resolution imagery down to 30 centimeter pixel resolution, but they've done a pretty damn good job, I have to say. Otherwise, as I said, like this beautiful detail, the textures on these ground textures on airside are absolutely top notch. They look absolutely amazing. And again, I just want to show this off. I think, is it, where did yes, down here. Okay, so let's drop our drone down. So again, so this airfield, you may have noticed, has the typical sort of triangular runway layout that's very common to Royal Air Force airstrips, because previously, in a previous life, this airfield has been around since the 1920s, originally starting as a civilian airfield and then became a Royal Air Force station during the Second World War, but also still served as a yeah, there we go. So I just want to show that off. So we've got these, and again, it's all about that attention to detail, showing off these high quality ground textures, custom set ground textures, and again the illuminated signs for the runways, and also the illuminated sort of warning wigwags as well for letting you know that there's a runway ahead. So much attention to detail going on in this add-on, and all beautifully done with still maintaining incredible frame rates. So hats off to you guys pilots for doing that one. Alright, so what we might do is we might switch out of our drone. We'll switch out of our drone and switch into something a little bit more normal, and we'll go for a flight around a bit of another higher altitude view around the airfield. Something a little bit more normal, shall we? Alright, so we're going to be doing the rest of our review in the Milviz 530F helicopter, just to be able to give us this opportunity. I did actually want to highlight that one of the reasons I want to do the helicopter is because I did want to highlight the fact that, again, part of this beautiful, faithful recreation of this airport is that they included this, the Western Power Distribution helicopter unit, which operates and is part of an aerial survey and observation unit to actually be able to look at power lines in the greater sort of southern UK area, and also across wind turbines and other electrical operations throughout the area. So, and it's something for frantic palm tree flyers, because frantic palm tree flyers often get forgotten. So it's great that they are getting remembered a bit more, and actually the helipad that is here in the here in the real airport is actually modelled in the scenery, so that's cool. Alright, so let's get inside this helicopter and get it started. I won't bore you with that, and then we'll go for a fly around this airport and have a look at it from a different perspective. Alright, so we're all ready to fly, so let's go and have a look at this airport from a different perspective and see if I can make some helicopter pilots cry. Okay, ready to go, looking good. We sort of do our sort of slow departure here. We just have a bit of more of a look around this sort of GA side of the field here. So again, it's got this beautiful set of set of the buildings here, all accurately modelled, complete with the GSE. And then we've got our flying club over here as well, fully modelled as well, which is the Bristol and Wessex Flying Club. So as I said, there is definitely something here for GA pilots as well. But as we sort of saw with the overview that we did with the drone before, is that not quite as much attention has been paid with some of the photoreal here on the GA side of the field as it has been on the um, on the airliner side. It still doesn't. I still don't think it, but it's still got all like little features and a lot of detail at the same time as well. So I'll be honest, I'm basically nitpicking with this. I really am. So yeah, I just want to show it off. In terms of otherwise, in terms of the runway layout, it's all set up and done beautifully and accurately as well. So we've got this is of course, as I said, an old runway, closed runway, but now turned into a taxiway, complete with sort of like the barriers there to let you know that it is only a taxiway. Though if you're Harrison Ford, though, you may still decide to use it as a runway. Again, we're just doing a low pass over here through this side. Again, another little taxiway over this side as well, with animated runway entry warning lights here as well. So I said, it's just like, it's all this beautiful detail that's come through here as well, and it's just absolutely gorgeous and just so well done. Like, I really, like, as I said, it's hard to fault. It is fairly tough to fault this scenery, because there's just this beautiful attention to detail, along with, as I said, it's just such smooth performance throughout it as well. Now, as I was alluding to earlier with this layout, and we can sort of see it a bit more as we climb here as well, that sort of more very traditional sort of Second World War era or pre-Second World War era layout of three runways forming a triangular shape. So as I said, this was the original runway. Well, really need to remember to change the old frequencies when we do that one. Anyway, moving on, apart from the default ATC interrupting us there. So originally the airfield here was the original civilian airfield here. It was done by local businessmen. And then would actually then go on to serve in a military capacity during the Second World War. But interesting fact though, it was actually, during the Second World War, it was the home to British Airways, or as it was then, British Overseas Airways Corporation. And they've continued flying civilian passenger flights throughout the war to various Commonwealth countries and neutral countries throughout the world. And this was actually their home base, having moved from Hereford, which is would later become Heathrow, during the war for the duration. So there's a lot of history as well. And to this day, it still serves as a diversion field and for some training for Royal Air Force pilots and Royal Air Force trainees. And as a frequent visitor is the Royal Air Force Red Arrows, where they often end their season with one of their last displays of the season is usually starts and finishes at this airfield. So again, just getting a bit of a flyover of the scenery here again. As I said, just appreciating the quality and the attention to detail that's gone into it as well. So as I said, as I said, I'm having trouble faulting it. Now, as I said, what we're reviewing in today is we're reviewing it in conjunction with Orbix's Great Britain True Earth South. And as I said, the join and sort of the merge between the two, it is pretty much seamless. The only thing that I kind of does get me a little bit, and we sort of don't see it at the moment, but it's sort of back behind us, is a couple of the buildings off the runway are sort of, they're there in the photo reel, but they're not there in the 3D space. So that's a little frustrating, but it's such a minor thing. As I said, I'm really starting to nitpick here. Now, in terms of the coverage area, it is primarily just the airfield. As I said, like the airfield and the airfield boundaries, essentially where it stops. Though they have included a couple of custom VFR points of interest in the area as well, including one particular radio tower, which we might go and have a look at now. So just to the south of this scenery is this little gem here. There's very much for the VFR pilots and for frantic palm tree pilots. So this is the Mended Mended transmission tower. So this is just about 1,000 feet high. This tower is built in the 1960s, and is actually the tallest structure in southwest England. southwest England and Wales. So it's a very much a iconic local landmark, but also a bit of a historical thing as well. It's served through a variety of technology changes, and it provides a home not just for radio transmissions, but also TV broadcasts, and also, of course, cellular connections as well. So it's very much an iconic local landmark, and actually, as I said, it's one of those things where the developers are actually local Bristolians. Is that what you call them, Bristolians? But they're the locals to the area, so it's kind of cool that they've done this very important local landmark as well, complete with a custom high resolution photo reel, custom buildings on the ground there, as well as the custom model for the tower. So and that's what I really like about it. Again, it's just another one of those attention to detail moments for this airfield, that I just really like the fact that they've actually added this little bit in here as well, and it just blends so seamlessly in with the rest of Orbix's True Earth Great Britain as well. So I really just wanted to show this little bit off as well. As I said, like, predominantly the airfield is just has the airfield. There are a couple of other points of interest in the regional area as well, but this is the main one that I wanted to show off because I think this one's really cool. So there you go. Alright, so now that we've had a look at that, we've sort of come back here. We'll just do a final sort of circuit over the field here and enjoy it and give our final thoughts. So basically my final thoughts is that this is a great piece of work overall. Like, it's a great scenery. It's a great airport add-on to have. It's very compact, but it's so detailed as well. There's a lot of life to the airport. The airport feels alive. It feels how a piece of scenery I think should. It blends absolutely seamlessly in with both Orbix True Earth, and also if you do have just Orbix Great Britain, or even if you just use default as well. So it doesn't matter what your sort of scenery background is. If you want to have this in your scenery, you really can't go wrong with this one. I think that such attention to detail really needs to be pointed out, and I'm really happy that I got a chance to do this. For me, I'm not a huge tube lineifier, and probably I must admit that this is primarily who the target audience for this add-on is. This is primarily here for those of you who fly 737s, Airbuses, Boeings, Airbuses, whatever you want to fly. This is primarily for you. For GA and frantic palm tree pilots, there is stuff for you here as well, but it's not quite as much. As I said, it's great to see the attention to detail that's going in through here, the matching and the true to life sense that it has here. But it's very much, you can tell that the focus very much is on airliner pilots, which is, that's fine. But as I said, there's enough of a nod is made to those of us who prefer low and slow flying, that I think that this is an airport that is a definite high consideration, no matter what your preferred aviation is. Alright, well, that does now round up this review at the moment. Thank you very much for joining me. If you do want to pick this add-on up, this one is available over at Orbix Direct. There'll be a link in the description down below. And of course, I do want to say thank you very much once again to the team at Pilots Plus and at Orbix for providing me with a review copy of this add-on today. Alright folks, well that does wrap it up. As I said, thank you very much for joining me. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel if you enjoy these videos and want to see more. And if you do enjoy the work that I do here and you want to support myself and the channel and everything that we do, please consider supporting us over on Patreon. Just head over to patreon.com/Novawing24 for some great perks and some great early access, and to be your chance to shape what that we do here at the channel. Otherwise, folks, thanks very much for watching. Take care, safe skies to all, and we'll see you next time. Bye for now.